Welcome back into another episode of the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Jack Withrow along with Coach Donnie Mays, and this is presented by Generations Physical Therapy Centers. 7 locations from Charleston all the way down to Grayson, Kentucky, and one right here in Hurricane on Tays Valley Road. You can check them out on their website, generationspt.com. Donnie, week number 4 coming up. Big win last week right here at Redskins Stadium. George Washington, they came in, I believe, number 3, in the Metro News poll. I believe you guys were number 8 or 9, somewhere around there. Tell us a little bit how that game developed. I know it was 7-6 them after the first quarter, and it just seemed like everything went your way after that.
Yeah, we took the ball first, went straight down the field, scored in under 90 seconds, and missed our extra point.
Is that the only thing that went wrong that night?
Yeah, there was a deflection. So the first quarter really didn't go our way. They took a long drive. It took us through the first quarter, basically. That drive did, and they had a nice one put together. We helped them a little bit with 4 penalties to keep it alive a couple times on third down, and they finally punched one in. Then they made their extra point in 7-6, and you could see the light kick on for the guys. We had a tough practice in the middle of the week, and we talked about adversity and fighting back. And I know it was just a 1-point advantage for them, but we talked about we don't want to be playing from behind from anyone. So the light just flipped on, and they just turned it on at that point, and then the rest is history.
And I always say that teams can take advantage of turnovers, but great teams, what they do is they score off those turnovers, and that's what you guys did. Starting in that second quarter, they had a few turnovers, an interception, a punt that went over the head of the punter. You guys capitalized on that on a fumble return, and then punched it in. I believe 2 plays later from the 2-yard line. So, and then it just went all downhill for them, all downhill from there. But again, the running game on that offense, and it was there again. You only threw 7 times against GW. When's the last time you just threw 7 times in a ball game?
Well, I would go back to when we beat them 48-21 when we were, when I was coaching at South Charleston, and we ran Chris Jamar, Pooh Bear Perkins. I think he had 41 carries for 341 yards. It was kind of the pedigree I based the game off of when I was scouting it.
Yeah.
And just knowing how they were trying to defend us and attacking the space that we felt was good. And I thought we did a really good job with that. And I told the kids up there, I said, it got to the point where I was just trying to prove a point that we were going to be more physical than them. We were running into 9 people, and we could have thrown easily. But I wanted our kids to work, because if you're going to win big games, you have to be able to run into heavy numbers too. And it goes away from all of our philosophical approach. However, that's what we did. We got into a rhythm, a routine, and we just said, hey, you got 9, you're trying to stop us with, 8 plus the safety coming down. We're going to run right into it, and we did a good job.
Yep. And stop me if you've heard this before, folks, but senior running back Jeremiah Riffle, another big game, 16 carries, 133 yards, and another touchdown. On the season, Riffle, 54 carries, 491 yards now. That's 9.1 yards per carry and 164 per game. And it just seems like he's getting better and better. I know you guys talk about his running style. You want to get his pad level down a little more, but he has looked great here in the first 3 games.
There's always room for improvement for everybody. So, with him, we just talked about just bending more and getting the shoulders down. But, like I said last week, he's got tree trunk legs that runs about a 4.6 40. So that's a hard obstacle for defenders. And when he gets going, he's a rhythm back. He's a guy that the more touches he gets, the better he gets going. So I feel like, I've watched and studied his film when he got back to Hurricane, and it was like he would get 1 carry or 2, and then they'd take him out, and he would sit over there and just wait a couple series, then come back in. But he's such a big back that he's a guy that's got to get into a true rhythm. You have different types of backs. Mondrell's a guy that you can plug in, and he's going to get you explosive plays because that's how Mondrell plays. And then you got Rivera, who just, man, you sprinkle him in there, and he's just like I said last week, he's a bolt of lightning. It's a nice three-headed monster that we have at the running game. But hey, listen, it all starts up front. And I challenged our O-line last week, and I told them that, hey, you've got D1 guys in front of you. It's time to prove yourself. And we certainly did. I think we ran for 270 or something like that.
Yep. A little more heavy runs like we talked this past week. Of course, Noah Velatambi looked good again on Friday. Just 6 of 7 passing, but 107 yards and another touchdown. A beautiful ball to Dews, a 25-yarder right into the corner. I mean, just put it right in his hands. Yeah,
and the thing I liked about what Noah did is he controlled the game. Mm-hmm. Even though we were running the ball, he was carrying out his fakes, or he was having his throw fakes involved. And then whenever they gave him what he needed, he just threw it and took advantage of it. And then one time, we were down at the goal line, and he saw all the flow go one way, and he pulled the ball and walked right into the end zone. So just he controlled the football game. And, even when I called a bad play, I think we were in a 2-by-2 set. I called a bad play.
Wait, you called a bad play?
Oh, yeah. I had a bad play. I even told him. I texted him and said, man, that was a bad call on my part. But, we had a bad play call. He wiggled himself out and fell 3 yards forward. Mm-hmm. So he kept it to where it was like 3rd and short versus 3rd and 7.
Yep.
So little things like that. That, to me, is important as a quarterback controlling the football game, and he does an excellent job with that.
Yep, just like again I said, 6 of 7 passing, receiving on the night. Your receivers, when they were thrown to, did a good job hauling it in. Tyshawn Dews, 2 receptions, 52 yards, and that touchdown 25-yarder from Velatambi. LaRon Dews, 1 reception, 9 yards. Bryson Murrell, he had a couple catches Friday night, 25 yards, and then Heath Montgomery pulled one in for 21 yards on the evening. And then the running backs to finish them up. Mondrell Dean, you talked about him, 8 carries for 58 yards, 2 touchdowns on Friday night. And then Elijah Rivera, the lightning bolt. 6 carries, 41 yards, and another touchdown for Rivera on Friday night. Let's switch over to the defense now, which I think. We're going to.
I want to say something. Like, I think it goes unnoticed a lot of times with all the yards that you get, but these receivers, they're blocking their butts off. Mm-hmm. And 2 of the guys on that we talked about was Bryson and Heath, and those guys are out there laying some major blocks out there to spring open some of these runs. And I think that's kind of like that's really big for your offense. Like you can sit there and run RPOs all day, but when you're asked to do something different and block, those 2 guys sprung up some really nice runs for us on Friday night.
And we talked about college recruiting last week on the show, and when a college coach looks at receivers, that's probably one of the things that they're looking at.
Absolutely, it's high up on their their grading. Now, it all depends on what system you're in.
Right.
There are some systems that don't require it, oddly enough. But then we're one of those in betweeners. Like sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It all depends on if you're running a run pass option or you're just running the ball. But when our guys are asked to block, they're out there doing it, and I'm very pleased with our receiving core right now.
Let's switch over again on the defensive side. I thought the defense set the tone for the night, and it was Mondrell Dean. It seemed like he was all over the field Friday night. But the thing about it is he wasn't your leading tackler.
No.
But he got into the backfield, disrupt things, and the other guys took advantage and came in and made the tackles on Friday night. And one of those guys was Lucas Ripito.
Lucas had a great game. Mm-hmm. Lucas had a tremendous game. Lucas has been very consistent too. Like he's been playing really aggressive. He's athletic, and then he comes to see another thing. He's like a hybrid player for us on offense. He's over there blocking too. Then he's asked to go over and play defense. Right. So, and he's getting big games and with tackles and all that stuff. So like I'm very happy with where we are with guys like Lucas and Heath and Bryson and the little things that we're asking for them to do offensively. But then when they flip over to defense, these guys are just like plug and play. They're tremendous at what they do. They're smart kids and they find the football. Mm-hmm. And Lucas has had 3 good games.
Yeah. So 13 tackles for Lucas Ripito on Friday night. Jacob Ellis with 11 tackles. And Khalil Ramey with 10 tackles on the evening. And Mondrell Dean, he had 7 tackles but 3 of those were tackles for losses and 2 sacks.
Yeah.
You sacked the quarterback 4 times. And we talked about in the pregame Friday night before the game, the key for you guys defensively was getting into the backfield, disrupting Abe Fenwick, and you guys did a great job of that.
Yeah, he also had 8 quarterback hurries. And I thought that was very impressive. And, you know, it wasn't like he was going against some regular Joe.
Right.
You know, he was matched up against a Virginia Tech commit, and he did very well. And that was the first time the kid's ever played DN. And, you know, Mondrell's a different animal. And what he did being disruptive, those other guys stepped up, like Jacob Ellis. He was so disruptive, too. When you had Dean and Ellis up there being disruptive up the middle, and even when they got through, man, right there, you're getting smacked by Ripito. You know, Khalil Ramey's coming down and closing the other end. So, I mean, it's an impressive front line, what we did the other night. I think it kind of threw them for a loop. They weren't expecting it, and I think that, you know, that gave us an advantage.
And then you talk about turnovers and defensive touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
We had 2 of them on Friday night. Joey Keano, 98-yard interception back for a touchdown, a pick 6 for Joey Keano, and then Mondrell Dean just scoop and score.
Yeah.
Ball laid on the turf. He picked it up 59 yards into the end zone for Mondrell Dean. So 2 defensive touchdowns on Friday night for the Redskins. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at our upcoming opponent in Spring Valley, the Timberwolves, this Friday night down at the Wolves Den. We'll be back after this word.
Generations Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and walk-in services available. Generations Physical Therapy. Multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can trust.
Welcome back into the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Jack Withrow alongside Coach Donnie Mays, and we take a look at the upcoming opponent in the Timberwolves of Spring Valley, a perennial power here, especially in the MSAC. Always well coached, big kids, tough kids, and they all play hard. Of course, Spring Valley 2-0 overall. They've got a victory over Huntington in the season opener. And then 2 weeks ago, they played Portsmouth, Ohio, defeated Portsmouth, Ohio by a score of 42-31. Of course, they were open last week. Donnie, your thoughts on Brad Dingus and his Timberwolves?
Yeah, no, always well coached. They do a nice job defensively. They create more looks than anybody we play. And a variety of different coverages, a lot of coverages that can cause a young quarterback problems. So Noah and I are going to have to spend a little time in the lab this week.
Yep.
And then offensively, they'll go from, you know, spread to wing tee, and with their traditional routes, and, you know, run your buck sweeps and run your fullback traps and the counters and the quarterback counter, and then they'll waggle off of it, and then they'll go spread. And then when they go spread, they do similar stuff, similar schemes, but they have more space. They actually have, I would say they have a lot more skill than they've had in the past. I noticed the Abercrombie kid runs really well, number 4, and their quarterback is very good. And, you know, he was really good last year, and he's only gotten better. And, you know, just in Brad and his guys, they do a great job.
Yep.
I mean, they've went to the state championship 4 straight years in a row, and you know, then they were one of the few teams to beat Martinsburg, and they beat them twice. So I mean, it's a good football team. They're well coached, and you know, and it's also tough. You got to go down there.
Yep. And you talk about the athletes, sophomore Jalen Abercrombie had a 13-yard touchdown reception on last Friday against Portsmouth, Ohio, and then an 86-yard kickoff return. He shows some speed when he gets out in the open space. And, of course, quarterback Dalton Fouch, 5'11", 160-pound senior, very good at what he does.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So he likes to play and do that play-action fake, and he does it well. And then I think he's a very accurate thrower. Now, not the most talented thrower, but, man, he's accurate. He knows how to place it in there. He's just a gamer.
Yeah, I think he's just an overall great talent. He reminds me of the kid that took them to the state championship a few years ago when they beat Capital for the first time, I believe. But that kid carried the ball to the end zone on 80 yards on one play and ended it for Capital.
Yep.
But that's who he reminds me of. And, the Abercrombie kid also had a jet sweep, just a basic jet sweep around the edge, gone, and scored a touchdown, but it got called back. So, it could have been a lot uglier than what it was.
Right. Of course, the offensive line is what Spring Valley has been known for in the past. They don't have the giants anymore, but they've got some big kids, some experience on that line. They start 3 seniors and a couple of juniors, and they're always physical and well coached, like you said.
They're big up front still. They're strong up front. I mean, they do what they ask them to do. I know that, and they've had a lot of success over the years of just being good, hard-nosed linemen. Now, like you said, they don't have the 6'7" guy,
right?
And they don't have the 6'5" guy, but they've got a group of 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", and then a couple 5'10s. But those guys will get after you. They're physical.
Right.
So it's we'll have our hands full with them. I think that by far off of our schedule, that's the best overall offensive line we've faced. So we're going to have to really get after them.
Keys to the game. When you guys are on offense and facing their defense, you said that they show a lot of different sets on defense.
Yeah, we're going to have to recognize what they're doing, and we're going to have to make sure that we can play assignment football as far as knowing who we're blocking and where we're trying to go with the football. I've always said that you have to establish the run game, and we did that last week, and nothing changes in that approach. I mean, we're going to have to get the run going to be successful, and then defensively, we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have to stop the run. I think the Fouch kid is their most talented runner, but they have, backs that'll hit it hard, and they can pop them. And I think that if we don't stop the run, we'll be in for a long night.
So basically, it does come back to the line of scrimmage and control of the line of
It's
scrimmage.
always the line of scrimmage in my book. I mean, I think football, you can do a lot of things in space. You can get the ball to certain people in space, but at the end of the day, if you can't win the line of scrimmage, you're going to have a long day. I've had great skill teams before that had no line, and I'm very well I know a lot about that. But when I had great lines, we were hard to beat. And I feel like right now with our team, we're getting to the point where we're growing as a unit, offensive line, and they're starting to learn how to play with play alongside each other. And then our defensive line, they're just moving Mondrell down and having, Drake Lanham, who played D end, he started the first couple weeks. And that, Drake Lanham, he's a good football player.
Yep.
And Mondrell Dean comes down, and it gives us a little more explosion in the pass rush game. But then you can plug a Drake in who's already a starter. So, I think that helps us. Jacob Ellis, I can't tell you statistically, but I guarantee he's winning more than half of his battles, which is huge up front. And then Nate McKay's been great, too. I think between those two, they've eaten up a lot of tackles. And when your D-tackle and your nose tackle are making a lot of plays, that's huge. And then we've already talked about Khalil and his speed off the edge. So I think it'll be a good challenge for our guys. And I think that our guys I think they'll accept it, and they'll be excited to go against a very talented group at Spring Valley.
Again, that'll be Friday night down at the Wolves Den at Spring Valley, 7:30 kickoff on Friday night, and we hope to see all the Redskins fans, another sea of red in the visiting bleachers. Heck, you can go sit in the home bleachers if you want to. But again, Friday night kickoff at 7:30. Coach, before we let you go, we've had a couple questions over on our Facebook page.
Okay.
The first was, we go down to Spring Valley. They've got grass on their field.
Yeah.
Do we ever even talk about, cleats and a type of cleats that we wear down there? I know the kids nowadays, they have their own cleats.
Yeah, I know.
Back when I played, we got those, and we had those screw-in cleats, and you could make them longer or shorter.
Both teams got to play on the same ground,
Yep.
So we'll see what we can do with whatever we're wearing.
Is that the governor trying to call you?
The governor. That is the
We'll call him back.
We'll call him back. Here, I'll
He's wanting to bring the dog.
I'll call you back.
I had the dog down at Marshall today.
Yeah.
So this is Monday when we're recording, but maybe he'll bring the baby dog here.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe we can invite him to a game, do a little coin flip.
The other question that we had, the folks are wanting to know, will they ever bring Susie's Biscuit to Tays Valley? CJ Tawney was the one that asked that.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, we're working on it.
We asked the mayor.
Yes, we asked Scott Edwards if he would work on that for us. We need a Susie's Biscuit right here in Tays Valley, the Hurricane area. I tell you what, if that comes here,
Yeah.
life changer for everybody.
I mean, you can just like the Simpson movie, just put a dome over top of it. Just you're good to go.
Yep. Well, Coach, we'll let you go now. We appreciate you, and we'll take another break, and we'll be back right here on the Donnie Mays Coaches Show, presented by Generations Physical Therapy.
Generations Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and walk-in services available. Generations Physical Therapy. Multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can trust.
Welcome back inside to the final segment, of the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Jack Withrow, and I'm now joined by senior Bryson Murrell, a defensive back slot receiver for the Hurricane Redskins. And Bryson, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Bryson had a great game the other night. Tell us the feelings after that big victory over George Washington.
I mean, me personally, I was really happy. I mean, we've never beat them before, at least since I've been playing high school. And I honestly thought we played really well. And I think if we play like that, I don't think there's anybody that could beat us.
Yep. Another big game on Friday night. Of course, the MSAC, always big games about every Friday night. But Spring Valley, that's another team that Hurricane has had issues with here of late. Give us your thoughts on the Timberwolves going into Friday night.
I definitely think they're a very different team than GW was. I feel like they're a lot more physical. They run the ball a lot better.
Yep.
So I think we definitely have to be prepared for that. But like I said, I feel like if we played how we did last Friday, I really don't think there's any team that can beat us.
Yep.
And I think if we just work together and fly to the ball, I think it'll be a good day for us.
Now, how do you prepare for a team each week? I know on the field, the practice, the reps, do you do a lot of film study?
Yeah, I watch film a lot. I mean, sometimes I watch it in class when I got free time.
And we won't tell his teachers that.
Yeah, but I watch a lot of the games, just recognizing route concepts, stuff they like to run, cues that I can pick up on.
Tendencies,
like, yeah, like how the receivers align and gives away certain routes like that, just stuff like that.
Coach Mays was talking to me earlier, and he said that you're like a coach on the field.
Yes, sir.
And it's good to have somebody out there, and you can get up on a whiteboard and diagram some plays and help coach the players out there on the field. Do you take pride in that?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I feel like I know the defense very well, and like you said, I take pride in making sure all the guys in front of me are lined up right. Like if someone doesn't get anything, and just make sure everybody knows and that we're on the same page. That way the defense can work the best way possible. Now,
we also talked to, you've got some hidden talents. What have you done in your life before? You've solved something.
So when I was little, I got bored a lot. So one day I bought a Rubik's Cube, and I spent like an hour watching this YouTube video and just practicing it over and over again. And then I finally learned how to solve it. But so I took some time off from it, and I completely forgot.
Yeah.
So I had to go back into it and figure out how to do it again.
See, when the Rubik's Cube first came out, we didn't have YouTube or Google anything. We had to do it on our own, and I never did solve it. So kudos to you for solving the Rubik's Cube.
I'm definitely blessed that YouTube's
what other things do you like to do off the field away from football?
So when I have free time at the house, me, one of our other players, Alex Miller, our trainer, Sigmund, and Coach Mays sometimes hop on Xbox and play some Warzone.
So you play video games with the head coach?
Yeah. He's pretty good, too.
How cool is that, though?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it kind of shows that he's not just a coach. Like, he's a friend. It's a lot of fun playing with him.
Does that mean a lot to the players when a coach can come down and do things like that with the players?
Yeah, I think it's really cool to kind of, like, humanize them, you know, and let them know that he's one of us and that, like, he's with us.
Yep.
No matter what we do.
He's just a big kid, really.
He is. He definitely is. It's funny watching him play because he knows so much more about the game than I do.
Yep.
Like, he takes it very, very serious.
Kind of like football.
Yeah.
Yep. School, how's it going?
It's pretty good. I got all A's right now.
All A's? Any scholarship offers?
So I have an offer from West Virginia State, Glenville State, Wheeling, and Alderson Broadus.
So all the Mountain East Conference, or 4 of Mountain East Conference teams. So,
Yes, sir.
do you know what you want to do after high school or going to college, what you want to study?
I'm leaning more towards exercise science. I'm not really sure whether that means like physical therapy or what, but that's probably what I'm leaning towards.
Well, we know people in the physical therapy industry, so
Yeah.
if you want to go that route, I've got a few names for you.
All
All right, Bryson, we'll let you go. And again, folks, we would like to thank you for tuning in today to the Donnie Mays Coaches Show. Again, kickoff Friday night, 7:30, down in the Wolves' Den. We hope to see a sea of red Redskins fans there on Friday night. You've been watching the Donnie Mays Coaches Show, presented by Generations Physical Therapy Centers.